If you're a live streamer, a gamer, or a video editor, then this video might be for you. Today, we're going to be looking at the Fifine Ampligame D6 Custom Key Controller. Welcome to Creators Tech. I'm LL Mel, and today I want to thank Fifine for sending out this review unit for an honest review. Right off the bat, a lot of you are going to be looking at it and thinking of another type of controller from a company called Elgato. The Stream Deck comes to mind. And although that one does come at a premium price with premium software, we're going to be looking at this budget offering with a different lens. We're going to find out if the offerings this has are well worth it, or if it's worth it instead to continue waiting and saving up your hard-earned dollars for something that has a little bit more to offer. Let's go ahead and see what comes inside the box. You get the Fifine D6 controller, you get a USB cable, and you get the user manual. This Ampligame D6 controller has 15 buttons on the face, and on the back of it, you do get a button for RGB and an input for the USB. On the bottom, one thing that is really nice about this unit is that it does have some rubber so that it doesn't slide around your desk. Each button does have its own unique layout depending on what you want to go ahead and place as the icon. So it's like a little screen in the background followed by a clear plastic, dare I say acrylic maybe? I'm not sure, but it does feel nice to the touch whenever I'm using it. The RGB button in the back does allow you to change the colors by simply pressing it. It definitely has very many options on there where you can simply push the button and it pulsates to a different color and different patterns all around. For the time being, you are looking at the rainbow setting here where it comes in at a default. Now, as you might be seeing here on your screen, I already set up a few scenes here so that if you're looking at it, I can switch between different scenes while I'm going ahead and doing a live stream. For those of you that don't know what a custom key controller does, is that it allows you to use other software, and these act as custom keys that you customize yourself through the software that this device comes with. Such as, for example, if you're going to be using a broadcasting software such as OBS, you will be able to use this in conjunction with the OBS software, where you can use these different buttons, for example, like the ones I have set up here, to scene switch between them. So it functions like a switcher with the macros that I have set on here. So you can start with scene 1, or in other words, camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 4, or you can go ahead and handle other things as well, such as the microphone muting on and off by pressing the custom set macro, and also the recording or the pause recording, or you can set up streaming button so you can start and stop the streaming button, or if you have a specific folder with files that you want easy access to, you can go ahead and set that up as well. Or if you want to simply just go back to, let's say, a home page within this little device, you have that option as well. You can click home and it takes you back to where you have your main set of custom keys and macros. So just so you know, when I say macros, I'm talking about the custom keys that you set for each button, the custom action that it's supposed to take. And I'll go in a little bit more detail coming up regarding how you go about doing that, but this is just a brief overview of what you can do with it. It's not only for streaming software such as OBS, but you can also use it with other software on your computer as well, such as launching shortcuts. For example, I have some video game software down here that I like to run myself and that I use on a regular basis when I'm going to be doing some gaming. So for example, if I want to launch Discord, I have a little shortcut button here. I also have a shortcut to Steam, my video game software, and also I have a shortcut to a game itself that I play very often. These are a few of the things that you can add to this Ampligame D6 controller, where you can just set up the shortcuts through here as opposed to having to dig through your computer software to go ahead and launch them on there. This way you could just boop, 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 add them through your button layout here, or to reach specific folders that you probably work with very often. They're all right here in one nice neat little package. Or if you want to have a subfolder, for example, I have my tech subfolder here, and this takes me to this custom folder that I have set up for you already for whenever I do a Creators Tech live stream. This takes me through all my scenes, or in other words, my camera angles, if that's what I want to have set up, or just different graphic packages that I may want to do. You can get with as creative as possible with this one as you want. Now, when I first got the Ampligame and was setting it up and playing around with it, I have to admit it wasn't as clear to follow the instructions as it has been with other similar devices such as the Elgato Stream Deck. This did require a little bit of digging around the user manual and also on the online help pages so that we can get started with setting this up. I will be producing a separate tutorial video that you can look at, so you can go ahead and set up this layout to your liking using that as a possible template. So now that you have an idea of what this device does and what it is intended to do, is it worth it? Is it worth your hard-earned money, or should you wait for saving up some more and spending it on something else? Well, I'll be glad to tell you that it definitely works. It definitely does what it is intended to do. Although I do have to tell you that it does require a little bit of extra work to get there. Whereas other systems such as the Elgato Stream Deck are pretty much plug and play. You don't need to fiddle around too much with it. The software is very intuitive and it's very plug and play, where it's pretty much almost already set up for you by the time you get it. In terms of the user interface, you just have to drag and drop the custom buttons that you want to set up. Whereas this one, when you get it, you have to still, aside from installing the software to run it, you still have to install certain plugins that allow you to add the shortcuts for certain programs that you may want to use it with. Now, I know Elgato does the same thing already, but I'm talking about the default software that comes with it. This one is very limited with its default software, so you will need to download any additional software, even if you're just using it for software such as OBS. Not only that, but you will need to go ahead and enable it through the OBS software so it can communicate together with this Ampligame D6. Aside from the learning curve when you initially get this device, once you get off of that ramp, it's very easy and intuitive to use this. It doesn't have as many plugins as the competition out there, but for the price tag, I don't expect it to. This comes at a retail price of about 75 US dollars, whereas the Elgato offerings come in at a much higher price. Now you have a decision to make. Do you want to go ahead and just receive something that's a little bit more on the beginner's side, where this will not have as many options as the other offerings out there? It won't have the dials that you turn, and it won't have software that comes along with the Elgato. Now, Elgato has had a few years on the market, so they've gone ahead and expanded their software. They have so many more plugins for their device, and they also have so many other just improvements that they've made on that device. However, this one, for what it is, and if it's something that you need, you can't beat the price. This is very solid for the price. The buttons feel very tactile, they feel very good, and the plastic around it, even though it's probably better to have a metallic finish, this seems like a very premium plastic. And one of the things I like about this that probably not a lot of people are going to mention is that it's not a fingerprint magnet. It looks nice, it feels nice, it's easy to find. If I did have one little improvement that I would make on it, is I wish it would be a little bit up taller, so it's just a little easier to see the keys from across my desk. Now, a lot of people might have it in closer to them, but the way I use this type of device, I have a little bit further away, so maybe that could be a little option. Hint hint, Fifine. So maybe for a future iteration you might want to go ahead and expand on that, but for now, for what you have, this is an excellent entry. I do expect the software to continue getting additions as the time goes on, and the current software that it does have just functions really nicely. I like how intuitive it is. I like how you have been able to make this device function for what it does, and it's very customizable in terms of the way you want it to look. In my case, I just like things to look very plain and basic so that they're easy to read and easy to identify, and that way I don't have to keep searching and poking around to get to the right thing that I want to push. So this is really nice. I have a lot of good things to say about it, and for the entry-level price, if this is something that you need, then this is something that will come into play. But like I said before, if you're going to need more options, more plugins, if you're going to be using a lot of different types of software with this, or with a controller like this one, then you might want to save up for something that has many more plugins for many other types of uses. Fifine, once again, I want to thank you for sending out this review unit for an honest review. You have another great entry to the world of entry-level devices that have already been out there for quite some time. However, you bring it down to a price point that is reachable to a lot of entry-level content creators. Thank you. If you're thinking about purchasing this device or anything else that I used in the production of this video, please check in the description section, as I will have links to some of the equipment that I used in the production of this video. The links will carry you to a website where you are able to make these purchases, and we are able to make a small percentage of the commission so that we can continue growing this channel and continue to go on. I hope I have earned a like and a subscribe for you if you haven't done so already. And once again, I'm LL Mel, and you are watching Creators Tech, technology for creators.